Hi, kids. Merry Christmas to you all. It's nice to see you. You guys look so nice this morning. Before we even get, kids, is one thing parents love this time of the year. They love to spend time with their families, of course, and their children. And I'm so happy to say that I have my two boys are here. They're not boys like you anymore. They're pretty. They're grown up. Eric and Jeffrey are sitting right over there next to their mom, all the way from California. We're glad that they're with us today as well. Come on up, kids. We have a story for you this morning. Christmas is a time for stories, and I love to hear Christmas stories. I learned this Christmas story about an older man who lived in Russia. He is a Russian man. He's a shoemaker, a Russian shoemaker. This has happened a long time ago. And his wife died. His children had grown up and moved away, far, far away. And he was all alone on this particular Christmas Eve, and it was Christmas Eve. He opened his door. He laid down his tools. He's done working. He opens the door, he steps out, he hears all these lovely Christmas carols, and everybody's so happy, but he's kind of sad. So he goes inside of his shop, and he picks up he was a Christian, and he picked up his Bible, opened his Bible, and he started to read the story of Jesus. He starts to read the story of the Magi. That's a word we don't use anymore, but just the wise men. You remember the story of the wise men? The story of the wise men. He started to read the story, and he was so excited by the story that he was reading. He noticed where the wise men brought gifts to Jesus, and he said to himself, "Oh, what can I give Jesus? I have nothing to give him. I know what I can give him. I'm a shoemaker, so I'm going to give him the best pair of shoes I've ever made." And he goes looking around, and he finds them. He had made them just a day or so before. He brings them out, puts them inside of a box. He lays them on the shelf. And he goes to bed that night, and he says, "Oh, I wish that Jesus would come by. I am so lonely. I am so lonely. I wish that Jesus would come by and just see me and just spend a little time with me." And he got tired, and he went to bed. He crawled into bed, and he started to dream. He had a dream. And in his dream, Jesus had come by to see him. And he was so excited in his dream. Jesus had come by, and Jesus spent a little time with him. And then Jesus said, "I'm coming by tomorrow. Tomorrow's Christmas Day, and I'm coming by, but you're going to have to really watch carefully for me, because you may not recognize me when I do come by. So you're going to have to be very, very careful and watch very closely." So he woke up the next morning, and he realized it was only a dream. And he said, "Oh, that was just a dream. He's never going to come by." So he got up, and he says, "Well, you know what? I want to make sure I'm going to be ready just in case." So he cleaned his house, and he started making some food. And he went outside, and he looked down the road, and there's nobody outside, just cold, cold weather. And he comes back in, and he looks out his window again, and he sees a street sweeper coming by. He's the guy who sweeps the streets. And he's working on Christmas Day. He couldn't believe it. So he opens the door, and he says, "You must be freezing. Why don't you come on in for a little while?" And the street sweeper, "Oh, thank you so much." He came in. He was freezing. He gave him a nice cup of hot chocolate to drink, and he gave him some biscuits. And the guy was so excited. He said, "I have to go back to work." He says, "But Merry Christmas." And he went out the door. And before he went out the door, he says, "By the way, if you see Jesus walking around, please send him in, because I am waiting for Jesus." Boys and girls, he said, "I am waiting for Jesus to come by. I hope he does." He said, "But you treated me real nice. Thank you. Merry Christmas." And he's gone. And the old man walks around a little bit more and says, "When is Jesus coming by?" And he looks out the window again, and this time he sees a mother. He sees a mommy coming by. "Oh, hi, come on in." Sees a mommy coming by. I think I might need a little help here. Mother, so can we have a little mother up here to help me? Maybe keep these tight, nice. Maybe sit between them. Could you sit between them something? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anyways, here is a mother. And the mother is carrying a little baby. And they're freezing. And so the old shoemaker opens the door again and he says, "Come on in." And the mother comes in with her baby, and he notices the baby in that cold weather has no shoes. And so the shoemaker, he says, "I made a pair of shoes the other day, and you know what? They're about the size of your baby." And so he runs and he pulls them out of the box, and would you believe they fit just right? And so he was so happy. He says, "You must be hungry." So he gave her some hot food. He gave her something to drink. And she was so excited. "Oh, thank you." And he said to her, "Listen, I'm looking for Jesus. If you see Jesus out there, please send him in. I'm still waiting for him." And she left. She says, "Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for the food." And she left. Oh, my. When is Jesus coming by? When is he coming by? And he looks out the window again. And this time he sees two beggars. They look like they were ragged. They look like they were hungry. And so he opens the door again. He says, "Come on in, come on in." So the two beggars came inside. And he says to them, "You must be hungry too." So he feeds them. He tells them the story of what he is waiting for Jesus to come. And they say to him, "We're not Jesus, but I tell you what, you have surely treated us so kind. You have treated us just like Jesus would." And with that, they went out. And he said goodbye, "Merry Christmas." And that evening he was so sad because he had waited all day and he had not seen Jesus come by. And with that he says, "Oh, I got to go to bed. Christmas is almost over and Jesus didn't come by." He gets into bed. He crawls into bed. And he hears a voice. He hears a voice. And it's the voice of Jesus. And Jesus said to him, "Hi. You were looking for me today, weren't you?" "Yes, I was. I came by today." "You did?" "Yes, I came by today. I came by in the form of that mother with that baby that you fed. I came by in the form of those two beggars that were so hungry. I came by in the form of that street sweeper that you treated so kindly." "You did?" "Yes, I did." And then Jesus said to him, "Inasmuch as you do it to one of the least of these, my children, you have done it unto me." And so, boys and girls, what a lesson for all of us to learn. We would hope that Jesus were here. I would like to see Jesus too, and so would you. If Jesus walked out, we would be so happy. But listen, Jesus is saying that whenever we do something kind, whenever we say something loving, whenever we treat someone with respect and love, Jesus says that we are doing it unto him. Isn't that wonderful? Well, remember, when you walk out, when you see somebody, treat people kind and loving, because you are doing it as unto Jesus. Merry Christmas. We'll see you kids. You can go back to your seats now. Thank you for coming and listening.